Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Pitstick at soulproof.com, and I'm sharing lessons learned from my dad's death and evidence that all the soul-proof knowledge lightens the grieving process and actually makes it an amazing experience when you look at it in its entirety. So, I had told my dad that the spirit Andy saw, what she looked like, and Dad said, "That's my Grandma Agnes to a T." Now we move ahead a couple days, Mother's Day on a Sunday, 6 days after we learned about his terminal diagnosis, and it was his last conscious hour. The entire family was around, we were all talking. He's asking everybody how they're doing and catching up on them, and I thought, isn't this amazing? Here's this guy, he's just kind of lapsing in and out of consciousness, and he wants to learn about other people's lives. Really impressive. And he told me there were 3 spirits in the room now present. Grandma Agnes and 2 other men. And she was told telepathically by Grandma Agnes, ask him about the ice box. And she said, Bill, your grandma says I'm supposed to ask you about the ice box. He started laughing. He said, oh my gosh, the ice box. He said, I haven't thought of that for 65 years. He said, Grandma had an ice box. We didn't have refrigerators back then. And she was very careful about who got into that. She said if anybody got into that, she'd switch them. But I was her favorite, so I could get in the ice box, get whatever I wanted. I never got in trouble. So he was laughing, and he's like, that was such a powerful evidence to him that his grandmother, who passed on many years ago, really was evident in spirit and there to help him along. That was just such amazing evidence, and for the rest of us to really help. Dad talked, he said, you know how you buy new towels and washcloths, how they're really smooth and soft? He said, that's how everything feels to me right now. And the hospice nurse said he wasn't on any medications at all. He said, I feel the best I've felt in my whole life. Now, do you realize what I'm saying? Here's a guy that's 80 years old, acute leukemia, his last conscious hour. He says, I feel the best I've ever felt in my whole life. This is what it can feel like when you're without fear, because he wasn't, and when you have one foot in the spirit world. He was already starting to feel that 100 best days of your life multiplied by 1,000,000. He said, you always hear the saying, God never gives you more than you can handle, but sometimes it doesn't seem to be true. He said, but when you get to the point in life where I am, you look back and you see it really is. So just remember that, whatever any of you're going through. And he was talking to his children and grandchildren and mom. He was saying, I've had such a wonderful life. I have so much to be thankful for. So these are all lessons to all of us. Even before the moment of death, he was focused on gratitude and all the good things in life. Not, why am I dying? Why me? Or, it's about over. Finally, after about an hour, he said, you guys are talking me to death. I need to take a nap. I don't know if he said that consciously or not. I was like, what a great line. He gave everybody a hug and a kiss, and before we left, he said, now be sure to look out for hawks on the way home, because he was a great hawk lover, and he always told us about when he saw hawks. And driving on the way home, a huge hawk flew right in front of our car. We almost hit it, the first and only time I've ever seen that happen. So pretty amazing. Finally, in the hospice, 2 days later, Andy said there were too many spirits to count then. She said they were just all over the room. They were in the courtyard outside. Animal spirits, cherub spirits, angels, guides, departed loved ones. She said, and they were reverent. There was a feeling of reverence, was the overall feeling like they were there to honor a human who had led a really good life, who had really done the right things and stuck there with it. And that was very wonderful. We asked Mom, what was Dad's favorite song? And she said, Amazing Grace. And so Andy sang it to him. Later on, all of us, there were about 20 of us, held hands. We were around him, we're all touching him. We all sang Amazing Grace. And that night, a black gospel choir was touring the hospice. And when they get outside Dad's room, what did they sing without knowing anything about it? Amazing Grace. So he got sang that 3 times in one day. Really, really cool stuff. Finally, after a day and a half of being unconscious and moaning and groaning and all that, somebody said, "Mark, you two are so close. Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to get away for a while, and you just can't pass when you're there." So I did. I walked outside. I got some sunshine. I was out there, and I picked up a big stick. And I said, "Dad, you see this stick?" I said, "If you're still alive when I come back in, I may have to work you over with that." And that's the way we interacted. And when I came back, he had just passed on. Very cool stuff. So in the next segment, I'll share a number of after-death contacts, all the different family had that helped us know without a doubt that Dad was alive and well, and helped us continue on with our grieving.